Hey there crew, welcome to our channel. I am Eddie with Home Media Bliss, where you're gonna find father and son team working together, doing some shenanigans that we shouldn't be doing, but that's fine, we'll get it done. We also have Gus on site, a 15-year veteran doing construction. And today we are in Morristown, New Jersey, specifically in this house. Now, previously in this house, off camera, before we started our channel, we did Wi-Fi, AV, and we also did some electrical in this house where we installed some floodlights with sensors. Now today we are back because we're gonna take off our AV hats off, we're gonna take off our IT guys' hats off, and today we're gonna convert ourselves into wannabe landscapers. Let me show you why. So as I mentioned from the intro, crew, we've been here quite a few times where we installed super souped up Wi-Fi throughout the house. Captain Morgan. We have 6 access points, I believe, spread out throughout the house where we improved their lifestyle with great wireless coverage on this side of the house. We also improved the network, the speed. We installed complete coverage of cameras around the house with notifications of the phones. They're happy with that. And then we came back another time and we installed some floodlights with motion sensors on these blind spot areas that they go at night in the yard. So then they liked the outcome so much that they called us back, and now they say, can you guys do something about our front? So in the front, we noticed that it's actually very dark at night. So then today we are working with low voltage lighting, and this actually comes to us from Kishler and provided to us by the good folks over there, UI Supplies over there on, they have 2 locations, one in Long Island, one in New Jersey. So we're lucky enough to go to the one in Ramsey up on Route 17 in Mahwah. We'll leave you the description below, the location of the distributor. We suggest that you contact either Darren or Brian, and they'll help you guys out and set you guys up with, if you're gonna become a dealer or a contractor and you're gonna get working in this area. Actually, they also ship out nationwide. So make sure you guys check those out. Okay, so as I previously mentioned, folks, we're gonna be working with Kishler low voltage LED lighting. Now this particular model is the AZT30. And then what that means is that this actually has a 30-degree spread. Now we're gonna install these in front of their bushes and brushes. And it has low voltage cabling, so we're also going to run some low voltage cabling that's going to come from the Kishler 300-watt transformer. So here it is, if you want to take a peek at that. All right, folks, I'm going to turn this around so you can see that. Okay, see that over here? So we got our terminals where we're going to connect our low voltage cabling. This is the power to turn on the built-in transformer over here. That's going to take high voltage, convert it down into 12 volts that we need. And then in here, we're also going to plug it locally to an outlet that's actually outside on the side of the house. And then we're going to connect that to a Lutron cassette switch. That switch will also be controlling the power to the local outlet, in which will turn on and off the low voltage transformer from Kishler. And what that means is that the client is actually going to set a schedule on the app to turn on and off the lights, sunset and sundown, all right? So why don't we take a tour on how we're going to do this? Let's go. Okay, crew, so we find ourselves on the side of the house where we have most of the mechanical units that are outside for the AC, and that in here, previously when we did a walkthrough, we did find that there was an existing outlet out here, and we decided to take advantage of this one. But if we notice, actually, this is a duplex outlet, and we're gonna need 2 outlets, which we actually have it already over here. But the one for the irrigation system needs to be continuous. We have to have the other one that we need to control. So we're gonna go ahead and replace this box, and we're gonna replace that with a dual gang metal outdoor box, in which we're gonna ground it. We're gonna put the ground into our metal screws, and then we're gonna replace that outlet with this receptacle right over here. And this device, we're gonna break the tab on the side here, and we're gonna make one part of the outlet continuous, and then we're gonna make the other one controlled by the cassette switch. So once we're done with that, this is what it's gonna look like, folks. Okay, so we're gonna have one outlet that's gonna be continuous for the irrigation system, and then we're gonna have one outlet that's going to be controlled by the Lutron on and off. On the app, we're gonna program the customer from their phone. We're gonna set up a schedule that's gonna be sunset or sunrise to turn on and off, kicking this outlet on, and then of course turning our transformer on. And then under, we're gonna put a cover on here. So if you can notice, see that? It's got a gasket on there. We're gonna put it on here like this, and then we're gonna put it just like that. And the next step is that we need to find out if this, we noticed that it's not actually a GFCI. So a GFCI outlet needs to be outside, but we're gonna find the circuit breaker. So hopefully it's actually a GFCI circuit breaker that's inside. We're keeping our fingers crossed. We didn't check for that on our previous stop. I apologize, folks, we missed on that. Also over here, if you notice, so we have our 14-2 burial low voltage cabling that we're gonna run for the lights. This is also provided to us from the good folks over there at UI Supplies, as I mentioned earlier. Make sure you give those guys a shout out. Big shout out to Darren and Brian. Once again, these guys are cool. Okay, enough yapping. Why don't we just get to work, folks? Okay, folks, so as I mentioned, we're gonna be working with 6 of these. Today, we're gonna have 3 to the left, 3 to the right. So we're gonna install 6 of these. LED number 1, right here. Number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6. Okay, folks, so the guys already started running that low voltage line over here. Check it out, there it is. So they ran the low voltage line over here. And if, remember, we're putting 3 low voltage Kishlet lights over here on the left, and we're also gonna put 3 of them over there on the right. But on the plans, when we submitted our pictures, the manufacturer said that we actually, in order for us to get to that side, they are suggesting that we dig right over here in the gravel and run conduit so we can get on the other side. We don't have to do any of that. Guess what, folks? Look what we did over here. Okay, we're gonna go right underneath the stairway. See, Gus already ran a pull line, fishing rod from this side. So there it is, folks. We got Justin over here on the left, and I got Gus right over there on the right. And let's get a peek on how we're doing that. See, he is tying that low voltage cable on our fishing glow rod that's on there. All right, so, all right, here we go. So he's running some tape onto that. Okay, now he's gonna let Gus over here so he can pull. Let's see Gus over here, he's pulling on that fishing line. Let's see folks, right there. Oh, so now Gus, he's got the line all the way over here. So all he has to do is get that line all the way over here to the end. So we can put 1 light right over here, 1 right there, 1 right over there. And then Justin is gonna continue on that line over there and install the LED lights, okay? Let's go. Here, there it is. There it is, folks. He's pulling on that line right there. And then Justin is on the other end, back feeding, assisting Gus, pulling on that line. And the reason why we're running it this way is so we actually have a continuous line on here. Gus is gonna start over here with the first light, leave a loop, then continues the line. Over here, bury it, put another light. Over here, another one. Make the connection, and then we're underneath the stairway. And then from there, we continue over here on this light, right over here. Justin's gonna connect that, make a loop. Continue over here, put another light, make a loop. Continue over here, make the connection, make a loop, and then from there, it goes to the back of the side of the house where we're gonna install the transformer. Alrighty, folks? Let's go.
Alrighty, crew, what you're gonna see in this time lapse is the process that Gus and I take to install these low voltage lighting. First, we dig a trench to hide the wire, and then we do a loop around the actual light to have enough wire to play with so that we can not only dig it within the ground, but also if the client wants to change where the location of these lights are, we have enough cable to then take out and then play with where the client would like it to go. Now, even though it may seem like a simple process, it's still a lot of work to not only dig the trench, but also get on your knees and start doing this type of work. So even though it may look fast, we definitely took our time here. Now, of course, crew, enjoy the rest of the video.
All right, Home Media crew. Now, while the boys are in the front installing those low voltage Kishlet LED landscape lighting, I decided to be a little useful. I'm gonna take off my landscaper hat off. Now I'm gonna put my wannabe electrician hat on. Here we go. All right, great. Now that that's on, now remember on the side of the house, we're gonna be using the existing electrical that's out here, and we're gonna turn this into a dual gang with, we're still gonna maintain the duplex outlet that's on here. And then I put my Klein circuit breaker finder, and then it's also a GFCI tester. And then I decided to plug it in off camera. You did not see that. I removed the cover. Where is it? Nice. I removed the cover in it because we're gonna change the box. And then I decided to trip it, and that makes me happy because that means that this, either there is an outlet inside of the house that is GFCI, or the circuit breaker actually is GFCI. So I'm happy about that, which is great. Now what we have to do is go inside of the house and find it, see where it's at, in the basement. So let's go. Okay, folks, I am in the basement, and I got a duct that's a little low in here. Alrighty then, I don't want to hit my head, and we got to go into this adventure to find out that either if it's a circuit breaker that's GFCI, or if it's a local outlet that's GFCI on the inside of the basement. And check this out, right behind me, you can see we got some panels in here, and that if you notice on the outside, you're gonna notice that we had some little windows that were a little lower than the ground level, and so that means that it should be somewhere around here. I believe this is the window we were working in. Let's see if we can make that out. See, there's our box out there. Sorry for the reflection of the light. I'm not a super pro camera guy, but check it out. There's our box of cable, and there's our metal box that we're gonna be installing on the inside. And if you remember, I pointed out that actually the cable is coming in somehow with the same output of the HVAC units that are outside. Actually, you know what? I'm actually gonna remove this here a little bit. Check this out, folks, so we can expose what's going on in the basement. If you can notice, there it is. That's our cable. Not the armor cable that's over here, and not the orange cable that's here. This outdoor 12 gauge outdoor Romex cable that's right over here. All right, so I believe we need to follow this cable, and let's see. Oh, I think I see something here. Okay, see that? Actually right there. And let's see if we're gonna follow that somewhere through here, folks. Let me switch around the camera and see if I can see the Romex. Oh, I think I see something here. See that in here? All right, folks, let's go ahead and trace that. See if we get lucky over here. All right, oh, look what's happening. Oh, check it out. Oh, I think we found it. It's right over here. All right. It's something so simple. I'm probably making more of a drama out of it. No, but check it out, folks. We did find that outdoor 12 gauge burial cable that's on here. And it looks like we got a GFCI that's right next to the windows on the outside. So I think it's this one, and it's already tripped. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna reset it. See if I can reset it. And remember that we have the circuit breaker test finder. So now I still have my circuit breaker test finder plug on the outside of that outlet. So this should actually beep for me. So let's see. Okay, I'm gonna turn it on. Right, there it is, folks, it's on. Check that out, it doesn't lie. That's telling me that that's my outlet out there. So I can either A, just re-trip it again, or just find the circuit breaker that feeds it. All right, since it leads right in here, see that, right into the panel? Okay, let's see if we can find that breaker and trip it. I don't see it here tripping, come on, folks. All right, or I can just trip it on purpose, work with it dead, and then just exchange that box on the outside. Okay, let's go. Alrighty, home media crew. Now for this portion of the video, while the boys were at the front running cabling and installing those low voltage LED Kirchlet lighting, I took myself around the side of the house to work on this electrical outlet that we were going to turn from a single box to a dual gang box. And so I set the camera some sort of cool angle, and I thought I had the microphone going. I don't know what happened. So Justin actually decided to have a great idea to say, hey, Dad, why don't we just go into our Hollywood studios and get you to do a little bit of voiceover, and we'll just lay that on top of you working in there. Now, folks, don't be scared about my little hairy forearms. I promise that for the next video, I'll shave those off. But for this video, I'll just be a little bit hairy on this. Now, if you see me here, I am removing that outdoor box, and I am taking advantage of the metal clip and installing it into the new housing on here. And I'm gonna insert the outdoor electrical cable into our box. You see me here that I'm struggling a little bit to get it in there, but don't worry, folks, it all works out in the end. Now, one thing particularly what I like about this dual gang box, what I really like about it, if you notice, if you take a look at the back of the box, it has two grounding screws on there, which I like that. And so I decided that I'm going to use the grounding on the right. It's going to be the power feed. It was actually kind of short. Now I could have used some Wiggles, or I could have used some pigtails and make them a little longer. But no, if you can see here on this angle, I moved the camera, and now I actually have my one grounding that comes from the panel, or should I say the GFCI that's in the basement, and I put that on the right. And then on the left, I installed two jumpers, grounding jumpers in there. Now here you see me that I am pigtailing the neutral, and I got two neutral jumpers coming out of it, two tails that one's going to be for the outlet, the other one's going to be for the Lutron Casator switch. Now here I'm actually twisting my two hot tails that I'm going to need. One's going to go into the bottom of the outlet, that's going to be continuous. The other hot tail is going to go into the feed of my Lutron Casator switch. So here, in no particular order, I'm just tailing my wires together. Now normally the rhythm that we like to do is when we are uninstalling something, we remove hot first, neutral, then ground. Then in reverse, we go in with putting the ground, then neutral, then the hot. But since I'm working with it off and I know that it's off, now you see me that I'm installing the jumper that's going to be output from the switch into the portion of the outlet. And I broke the tabs between the two screws, so Therefore, the top of that outlet, it's going to be switch, and the bottom of the outlet will be continuous. So here I'm actually installing the continuous hot at the bottom and the switch one on the top, and then on the side we only really need one neutral because the tab, it's still not tampered on this outlet on here. So the neutral will work on both screws. Now I'm gonna be working all this wiring in here so I can make it all nice and pretty in there, and just fold the wiring kind of like an accordion, so whenever you work you can always take it in and out with ease. And now making sure that I got my screw on there. And oh, folks, if you see me, I actually forgot one thing here, very important. See me that I'm putting electrical tape around the screws of the outlet because it's a metal housing, and whenever you're working with metal, it is strongly super suggested to put taping around your terminals, so then there's no contact on the box. Now I'm putting all my pigtails here on the Lutron Casado switch. So if you see me here, I did my neutral, my hot, and I just did my ground. And now the blue cable that's in the switch, that's actually the traveler if we were going to do a three-way, but not in this position. So I just put a pigtail on that and shoved the wire on the inside. Now here you see me that I am putting the final screws on the Decora outlet. And remember, folks, that if you don't see it as a GFCI, that is because on the inside of that load is GFCI protected next to the panel, if you saw it earlier in the video. Now I'm here slapping the switch. If you notice that I had it upside down and had to break the tabs, and I'm actually not affecting the load on the switch, derating it too much, because it's just controlling the Kirchler transformer that's going to be installed to the right of me. And now you see, oh, there it is. You can see that the guys are showing up with the box, and they're going to be installing the Lutron transformer. So at the bottom, here's my continuous, and at the top it's switch, and here we go. Okay, folks, back inside the basement to make sure that our dual receptacle that we installed outside, actually correction, our dual gang box with our two devices installed outside are wired up properly and grounded and bonded. Okay, let's go ahead and reset the circuit breaker to make sure that we're good. Let's see that. I guess it didn't blow up on us. Okay, with the circuit breaker finder still installing our devices outside, let's go ahead and make sure that it's still working. There it is, folks. We're good to go. Now let's go back outside, use a multimeter to make sure that our voltage is correct. All right, let's go. All right, folks, while that was happening downstairs on the inside, on the outside, Justin and Gus were actually finishing up installing those LED lights out there, burying the low voltage burial cable, and brought it all the way over here. They buried it and brought it all the way over here to the Kirchler transformer. And now that we have established our power, let's go ahead and test. So we're gonna run a few tests using our voltage meter, and let's see what we're gonna do. All right, folks, back outside. If you notice, I have my GFCI tripper, but it's also the transmitter for the receiver of this circuit breaker finder. Now let's go ahead and make sure that we got a beep on our feed. There it is, we do, that's live because our transmitter is installed here. And if you notice, Justin, we have two lights over here. That means that our bottom of this receptacle is continuous. The top one, we programmed that, or we install it to be switched by these Casado switch over here. So you notice it's actually off right now. There it is, it's on, off, and on. All right, so from there, let's go ahead and get our multimeter here and do some readings to make sure that we got our 120 that we need to work. Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, there it is, folks. We got our 120 at the bottom, which is continuous. All right, so we established that we have our current outside. Now what we have to do is make sure that we test that our top outlet on this receptacle is going to be switched by the Casado switch. So then let me go ahead and turn that on. Let's go ahead and our non-contact pen our non-contact pen voltage detector. Okay, there it is. Okay, we got a beep in there. Not sure if you're going to make it out. I'm going to turn it off. Okay, not sure if you can hear it, but it's going. There it is. That's off. That's on. Great. All right, so that means that we're actually sending high voltage into our Kirchler transformer, and the transformer is going to downgrade that into low voltage 12 volt. To make sure of that, here's Gus. He ran the cable on here. Okay, so we got a clip on here, and the wire is actually connected, if you can see that on there. So because we have a short run, we're going to start with the 12 volts. Later on, as this is scalable and the client's going to want more lights, we can run secondary lines on 13, 14 volts, or just carry the wire over so we can send more voltage over to the limit of that cable. All right, so if anything, let's go ahead and set our multimeter here. I'm gonna put it on the DC mode, and let's go ahead and put the comment on that, and let's see if we got our 12 volts. Okay, looks like we do, there it is. So that means that's those lights, they should actually be on that Justin and Gus installed. So let's go check them out. Now that we have established our power back at the transformer, now we have to establish the fact that these lights are on. Earlier in the video, Gus and Justin did an amazing job burying the low voltage cabling right over here on the soil. So let's check. Remember, we did 6 lights. So let's count them. Ready? Light number 1, light number 2, light number 3, light number 4, light number 5, and finally, light number 6. Now with all these lights already all installed and working, the next step to do is just to get the client's phone, get the Lutron Caseta app and program that switch out there. Now we're gonna go ahead and do that off camera. All right, so I believe the client wants us to check a few things. Let us check that out to see if it's worthy of putting it on camera for you. Boom. Okay, Home Media crew, it is a couple of hours later. We spent some time troubleshooting 2 cameras that were down, and it turns out that the client had some painters come in and reinstall some brand new molding, and then guess what? They nailed right through some of our wires. We made the repairs on that, and then also one of the floodlights, the sensor was actually not working, and it turns out that because they painted some of these window shutters, they actually lifted the sensor, and the sensor was looking up at the sky. So we took the 28-foot ladder, went up there, dropped it down, and now everything seems to be fine. We activated the Lutron switch, showed the customer how to do it. We set up the sunrise and sunset schedule so they can come on and then turn off, so the customer doesn't have to really think about it. Check it out, we got the lights all installed in here, and then the client's gonna get back to us tonight with a few pictures just to make sure that it all looks good. And Gus is up in the truck, Justin is ready to go. I think we're done for the day. If you stick with us this long, thank you very much for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by. Like, share, subscribe, drop some comments in there, and we'll see what the next adventures takes us in. We'll see you on the next Home Media Biz video.